Greetings and welcome back to yet another episode of Slay the Spire, and today we're going to be playing as the Silent with 2 positive modifiers and 1 negative one. So we have Diverse, which means that we can get cards from the Ironclad and Defect as well. Time Dilation is, I think, one of those modifiers which just adds an extra layer of strategy to the game. It's a very strong debuff. I suppose the slow debuff is very strong. Time Dilation perk is very good. You know what I'm saying? It's very strong, you just have to utilize it properly. And Hoarder, whenever we add a card, we get 2 additional copies. So this might be very good, this might be very bad. It just all depends on the cards that we get. So with all of that said, let's embark on our journey and let's just slay the Spire. This time I did not forget it. I'm very proud about that. Even though it's nothing to be proud about. It's fine. This seems like it's going to be a good strong daily. So I do want to hit this. There are 3 elites on this path. That seems pretty decent. And I do want cards which will make it easier for me to deal with them. That was a very weird sound effect. But that's fine. I say that's fine a lot. Mostly because it really is fine. So I can kill this guy and just do 1 defend, I think. I'll do exactly that. So obviously we'll play the defend first. Just to apply the slow, just to deal a little bit more damage. And I think that this curl up icon is actually a little bit different. It looks pretty cool. And by pretty cool, I mean it looks distinct and it actually signals what it's trying to say. Oh, I think there was an update and that's why there's a different sound for drawing cards. That would make sense. Something like a claw would be great because of course we can get cards from the Defect, but none of those seem like a good idea. Remember, adding only 1 card is not an option. Every time we add a card, it's 3 cards. We're probably going to remove something. Maybe a basic defend. We have a survivor. I think that makes sense. I think we want to keep strikes because of time dilation, but we'll see how that goes. I'm not sure if I'm too big of a fan of the new sound effect for drawing cards. It's not doing it for me, to be honest. It sounds like a cobra snake rattling around. I should have played defend first, obviously, for the time dilation. I was like, I don't need to play a defend, but obviously in such a situation, it's a good idea to play one at the start. Okay. So far, so good. I'm taking some damage here. A little bit unfortunate, but that's just how life is sometimes. He's dead. Perfect. Perfect. Poison potion, pretty decent. Now, I am leaning towards Beam Cell. Having 3 in our deck might not be the best thing, but it's free, and Vulnerable I think is very strong because of time dilation. So I'll take it. Under the guise that we need something to boost our damage against elites, otherwise we're just gonna suck the short one. Especially in the first turn we draw a lot of cards, so having some free cards in our deck should be pretty good. So the way I want to do this is, yep, this just seems the best way to do it. Just go all out. And this is pretty strong. Especially because we have 3, we can stack the beam cells for multiple turns, which can deal more damage next turn. So that seems really good. A dagger spray. Now adding 3 to our deck is questionable. But I think it's fine, mostly. I'll do it. Mostly because I think we need it more than anything else. We just need some more offense, especially against multiple enemies. So that's what I'm going for here. Okay, a little bit of a misnomer here, but should be fine. Especially with Dagger Spray, it strikes twice when an enemy is vulnerable, and also with the slow thing. It feels like it's gonna do a lot of damage. A defend first, and then we can just play our hand out in the order that makes the most sense. He might just be dead. He is dead. Right. Okay, so far it's working out. Bane does not make a lot of sense. Catalyst, neither Shockwave also. I'm still on the right path, I am? Okay. Am I gonna get the better turn? That's doubtful. This is already seeming pretty strong, so let's just, go ham. I will undoubtedly take some damage against this guy, unless maybe I utilize my block potion well. Mostly because I just hadn't self-joined to this, which means that there's no way for me to defend anyway. So I was debating whether I should use the block potion or not, but I don't think it makes sense, because next turn we know what we're drawing these 5 cards, and this is not enough to actually sustain damage. So it's a better idea to save this block potion for maybe another elite, which we can guarantee, which will be guaranteed to actually... Perfect. right? Because we know that this guy is gonna attack twice for 18 and we only have 10 block. This is essentially what I'm saying. I know I'm skipping out on some explanations. I always have a problem with these videos because I'm not sure how many people actually know how to play the game versus how many people don't. So explaining rudimentary things to people who already know how to play the game can be a little bit annoying, obviously. The problem is I only have one orb slot, and I think 3 cold snaps doesn't seem to be the best idea in my case. I like the deck as it is now. We'll see how it develops. I don't really have an archetype yet, I suppose. But we'll see. We'll see. I think upgrading Dagger Spray is just gonna be good. Maybe upgrading all of them eventually. Because the vulnerable, while nice, doesn't really do us much favors when we already have 3 in our deck, right? Because we can just cast the same 3 on the same enemy, and that should be fine. I'll probably pop 1 block potion here. Dagger Spray here is just so sick. And I'll just go ham on this guy. They don't have slow, so I don't have to worry about that too much. I'll just do this. I already have 3 potions, right? I can afford to pop 1. Okay, so I can just get rid of this guy, hopefully. I didn't do the math there, it just seemed like it would work out. Obviously, if I didn't have enough damage, I should have played 2 blocks instead, but I think that this is looking fine. Wait, can I actually kill him this turn? I guess there's only one way to find out. It's not like I can block for enough, so I should just cast my spells out. And that was indeed enough damage. Paper Crane. Enemy with tweak deal 40% less damage. That seems pretty good. Backstep, 3 backsteps on the first turn seems quite good. I won't lie to you. Backstep seems like a really good card, just in general to me. We don't want to hit this elite, so there's no other choice but to go here, I suppose. Neutralize. Especially with enemies being vulnerable, dealing 18 damage per turn is kinda sick. And these cards are free, remember that. 2 weak, no. 3 of them I'll skip. Now the question becomes, do I upgrade backsteps or do I upgrade more Dagger Sprays? I think backsteps are a better idea. Just because they're always in our hands. They're always gonna benefit from us upgrading them, right? So if I upgrade them for 4 damage, that's essentially 6 damage because they're in the first turn, and however many much damage we get from the slow effect. So that should be fine. Right, I can actually play all of this out, and I don't think we're gonna get much better of a turn to destroy this guy. And when I say we're not gonna get much better of a turn, I really mean we just killed him. He's already dead. Calculate Gamble seems unnecessary. We don't need 3 of them in our deck, supposedly. I think 1 Dagger Spray is just gonna be enough to kill the little guy. So, I mean, we have 2 Dagger Sprays, we're gonna play both of them. The important thing is just to do it in the right order. Which I already failed, but it's fine. We have a lot of damage in our hands. Heavy Blade is unnecessary. Sacro Punch might have some potential, but bloating the deck at this point just does not seem like a good idea to me. He's dead. I don't even have to think about this. I just strike him down like the scoundrel he is. No. I don't think I in particularly need anything. The thing is just how much damage can I deal to him. He has 140. I think we can easily... Yeah, see, this is like the worst hand to get at this stage. Mostly because... this is 22. So I don't want to face him this turn, I think, is my goal. The question is, how do I not phase him? This does not phase him. Does this phase him? This does phase him. So I don't want to play a neutralize. And I just say, sorry 5 energy, you're going to waste. Which is a terrible feeling. But I might have been able to get him a little bit lower if I played the defend first. I just didn't want to risk it. I will phase him now, because this is quite a good... this is enough damage output to justify it, I think. Being at 47. But the thing is, right, both of our blocks, I mean both of our AoEs are now in the discard pile. Maybe I should have just waited, because he was only charging up. Wait, we have 3 Dagger Spray? Yeah, we have 3 Dagger Spray, that makes more sense. Now that you say it out loud, actually... He should be phased. Never mind, we're actually doing so much damage we don't even have to worry too much about it. It would be nice to get another dagger spray here, which seems to be unlikely. If I kill one of those, I can defend for enough with one block potion, so that seems like what I want to do. So one slime seems like a good idea, and just get rid of the small guy and just pop this. I'm glad you're not attacking, it's very nice of you. He's dead by the virtue of dagger spray, and this guy hopefully is phased. And if I want him to surely be phased, I surely must play other cards first in order to just maximize the damage I'm dealing to him. Maybe it wouldn't have mattered, maybe it would, I'm not sure, but it's good practice anyway, so that's what I'm doing it. Right. I don't have enough energy to play that. For some reason I thought I did. Apparently I don't. But that's okay, because they weren't attacking anyway, so it's not like we were on the verge of taking any damage. Feed, if I got it earlier, I think I would have been a little bit more likely to take it. But still, honestly, I'll still take it. It exhausts itself. Having 3 feed in the deck might be a little bit of an overkill, but it's just a good card on its own. You can no longer gain gold. White Beast Statue. Do we really need more energy is the question. I don't think we really need more than 3 energy. This deck seems to be doing fine without it. So I suppose a White Beast Statue. If I can count on getting 3 energy on this deck with potions along the way just to get more gold for more points, this is fine to me. One elite here, one elite here, and I suppose there's only a way to hit 2 elites, and I do want to hit a shop. So if I want to hit 2 elites and a shop, I probably want to go in this path. There's one guy there, this path, and I want to hit the shop. I can hit the shop as well, but I think it's better. Let's just visit 2 question marks. Seems like a fun thing to do, a nice family occasion. So the thing is, I want to use a feed properly here, which shouldn't be too difficult, to be honest. Getting more max HP is definitely gonna be a good idea. I'm not sure if we get more points for it. I hope you do. It seems very good. Find some potions, I mean, at this point. Yeah, no, that was... Honestly, I think this is a good idea. We have feeds in our deck. Bites that heal us. It's just a little bit more damage, right? It's 7 damage instead of 6, and I'm not really at the danger of taking too much damage. Now, one thing I do need, I think, is some defense. Although, I'm not sure how the hell I'm gonna get to that point. Gain 6 blocks whenever you... I think this would have been better a little bit earlier. Now, it seems a little bit too late. I can't remove cards. Right. Honestly, none of these cards seem very good to me, so I'm just gonna skip it. That's unfortunate, yes. It is what it is, though. I just need to be very careful about how I approach this. Lower damage first, and then feed at the end. Makes a lot of sense to me. Or even now. The only problem with this deck is if I'm facing some big enemies. I just want, like, the champ, for example. It's not the champ, but if it was, I could be in a lot of trouble. Mostly because a lot of my power lies in my very first turn, and the rest does not seem to be very good. Wraith, I got 15 bites. It removed 5 strikes and added 15 bites to my deck. I hadn't considered that. Is that good? I'm not sure that that's very... I actually don't think that's good. Oh, yikes. My deck is just bites at this point. Well, that's slightly unfortunate, I would say. I also need to be using more potions, I think, because this is unfortunate. So, even adding defense at this point is not really gonna help me all that much. I honestly think of just getting them as low as possible and then just banking on getting some... what are those things called? Defeats. I want to raise my max HP as much as I humanly can. This is enough to kill this guy, which is fine. I'll do this, and if I do this I kill you. So I won't. I can heal. I have the potion. Of course I have the bites. I'll just wait for feeds. I don't think there's a reason for me to not wait for feeds at this point. And besides, you know, almost dying. But, you know, like I said, I have bites, I can regenerate my health, I have the regen potion, that's fine, I can take some damage against this particular enemy. FTL, if we have... yeah, it's not gonna do much for us. F2 wants... game. I'll take this, just because it's block, and it might save us in a clutch. And at this point, I'm just saying, well, this deck is messed up, isn't it? Which makes sense. I mean, it was messed up before by the virtue of us having 15 frigging bites in our hand, in our deck. And I don't think there's any way I actually defend for enough. I have enough energy to play out my hand, which is really good. It's just not enough to really do much more than that. If there was a chance of me killing him there, there might be still. There isn't. Honestly, just why not? I can't poison him. Maybe if I reordered some of my attacks, I could have done it. It's fine. Similarly to before, maybe just waiting for a feed is okay. I'll even heal a little bit. He's weakened to HP. Alright, I have a friggin' lightning orb. How did I miss that? Clash should just be a good card in our deck, right? We have 3 energy, we basically only have bites, so seems fine. Battle Trance also seems to be really good in general. So I think both of these cards are totally okay to get. I think we have enough offense though. Do we though? We do, I think we do. Battle Trance so we can join to defense or something seems good. Orichalcum should come very much in handy. Getting 6 block for free whenever we can block seems very good, especially again because we have a lot of bites. Not a lot of defense in our deck actually. Okay, he's not dead by this. I was afraid I might have overkilled him there, which happens sometimes. Yeah, our turns beyond the first one are just not very good. I might be a vampire, but I'm a very shitty vampire. Double tap? Sure. It's free, so I don't think there's a reason not to play it. He's dead, and we have healed for quite a bit. Power 2 would have saved us in a pinch. Cloak and Dagger doesn't really do much for us. Gives us some block. A Shiv doesn't do much for us. If it would be an attack, I guess I could have taken because I have Molten Egg, which would mean it auto upgrades, but we don't. So let me consider this. I guess we just go on the offense. That was actually enough to kill him. I was just calculating it in my head if it was actually enough. I think an uppercut makes sense, just to weaken and make them vulnerable. Maybe even a backflip. No, I think uppercut makes more sense, and we need to get an energy relic if you want to make this work. Now, it's not gonna be that big of a problem on elites and maybe even boss fights because we have the ancient T sets, but just for general fights on the third act or maybe some elites on the third act that don't have a campfire in front of them, that should come in handy. Right. Power 2, 20 block, that's not the worst actually. The rest doesn't seem that all that useful. Dagger Spray, I think, outstayed its welcome at this point. I mean, it's just upgrading for 4 damage does not seem that good anymore because we're basically killing a lot of enemies on our first turn. And I hope that trend continues in this case as well. He's already weak and vulnerable, so we should play this after our bites. There's me hoping that we can actually just kill him in this turn. It's looking unlikely, but we have a poison potion, which means that it's entirely likely. So we're doing about 160 damage per turn, which is really good. Whenever you discard the card during the turn, deal 3 damage to a random enemy for each card discarded. Would be perfect if we actually had a deck for it, however we don't. so it's not. Boot sequence, 3 in 8. No, I think having 6 and 8 cards in our starting hand is just asking for things to go badly. so I'm not gonna opt for that. Not yet, at least. I will weaken you on the virtue of I don't want to deal with you. I will not kill you yet. I'll just do this so I can hopefully feed off you both. I want to feast on your corpses. Is that too cruel? It might be. And I just want to keep this party going. I did a little bit of a misordering there, mainly because I want to keep him a little bit healthier, which might or might not be a good idea. I guess there's no reason not to battle trance, considering I can draw into a feed. This is gonna kill him. It's not. There's no way for him to kill himself on me, so I'm not too worried about him being on 1 HP. I just need a feat to finish this off, or just give me power choose so I can sustain the blocks. Both fine options, really. I think there is some score at the end you get for obtaining a certain amount of max HP, so I think that's what I'm going for. But also just having more HP just means I'm overall a little bit healthier, especially against those big attacks that certain enemies have. I will take another power 2, thank you very much. It actually saved us there in a pinch. It allows us to get a few more max HP than I would have otherwise gotten. So uppercut on this guy seems like a good idea to me. Is there artifact? Sure. I wish I could make him weak first, but I don't think that's actually possible, so I guess I'll just make him vulnerable and do 100 damage to him in my first turn. He doesn't have slow, so I'm very glad about that. A battle trance is great. Saved us. It didn't, because it's only 13 block. So I guess we pop an energy potion and we hope for the best. I mean the ghost in a jar potion. I hope that on the next turn he's actually not doing anything to us, which is unfortunate to say the least. I will drink an energy potion by the virtue of me wanting to just get rid of as many enemies as I possibly can early on. I think I will hit the other guy with a bite, just to maximize my damage. I think I can kill this guy easily with, like, even an upgraded dagger spray should be enough to get rid of him. Now, is that something that's gonna happen? I'm not sure. But I'll try to make it something that's a thing. I feed a little bit too little too late. I can't actually feed on this guy, so it's actually meaningless. I can do this though. I suppose I'll just take 10 damage on this guy. Why on this guy, not on this guy? That's actually a very good question. I'm not sure. I cannot justify my actions, and okay, now our luck has ran thin. We can't actually defend for much more. They stole 2 feeds out of us, which I guess is good, because feeds don't really do much against minions. We don't want to use them against this guy mostly. I mean, he's the only guy we can actually benefit feeding from. So. This is not a hyper beam or anything of the sorts, and yet you're doing so much damage? This is ridiculous. I can't draw again. Right, this is unfortunate because I have 0 blocks in my hand. This is gonna be very bad when he does... Oh, this is a hyper beam. Wait, the hyper beam only deals 30... Oh, I know why. Because we have the paper crane, which means that the weakened enemies actually deal a lot less damage than just 25%. This is a really good freaking trinket, especially if you don't have a lot of defense like we do. Or like we don't, I suppose. I wanted to say like we do, like that is our situation. But obviously we don't have defense. That is just not a thing in our deck. I wish that bites scaled, like the heal of the bites scaled with how much damage you do. Like for example, 20% of the damage you deal is how much you heal, like spell vamp of some sort, or lifesteal. I'm sure there are cards in this game which function off lifesteal. I'm not sure. It just makes sense. Like he's one of those game design decisions which lifesteal is the thing that appears in all games. You know what I'm saying? So it would make sense that it exists in this game as well. And we did manage to get the guy with the feed, is what I wanted to say at the end. But I got interrupted by my own thought, which happens often. Shuffle all of your cards into your draw pile. No, none of these seem very good for me. Reaper, I guess you can make a case for it, but... yeah, this is just hovering kite, no. The thing is, after we transform 3 cards, we're gonna get 9 cards. But honestly, get some bites out of here. I don't need so many freaking bites. I don't know what I just got, but it's all upgraded, so maybe it's fine. We'll see. This is now a 50 random card deck, essentially. We will try to hit the shop. There's one elite here, another one here, and... right, but we can't hit the shop this way. Oh, we can. If we hit this elite and this elite, and then there's another one. I do like this pad because it allows me to choose essentially where to go after this elite. I can decide to go heal and maybe tackle this guy or just go away from him. And there is a shop early on. Okay, so I do like this pad. Most enemies just shouldn't be a problem. We can get rid of them on our first turn. Backstabs are good cards, especially when you have 3 of them. Please tell me you have something good for me. Panache, I like Panache. I don't think Panache is a bad thing. A pair, I don't think there's a reason not to buy it at this point. Start each elite combat with 2 strength, also does not seem to be a bad thing in my head. The rest I can do well without. I'll just save some money for hard times. You know, it's very important to be frugal, it's very important to realize. This does not seem like a... So the 3 transform cards are apparently trash. I guess I can exhaust bites so I don't have as many in my deck. Is that something I want to do? Thinking ahead? No, thinking ahead is actually good, so... get Purity out of here, I just want to see it anymore. I got a tip about exploders on one of my previous videos. It was in regards of when they actually deal damage. Apparently when they have question marks. Oh, in 3 turns explodes dealing 30 damage. Okay, I see. So exploders have been changed to how I remember them working. If you kill them fast enough, they don't deal any damage to you, but if they explode, they essentially just ruin your life. So you can't let them live for 3 turns, essentially. I like that. Or rather, I think that's a good change, because before it was kind of annoying. Or rather, all enemies kind of felt the same. Sadistic Nature is just a bad card. Honestly, take them all. I wish there was that guy which you can donate cards to, and then he's like... or like the Wisps, you know, did you give a card, and depending on how good your card is, that's how much reward you get. And I would just feed them Sadistic Natures, their gold cards, so we'd get a ton of stuff in return. But obviously for that we need to go to question marks, which I haven't been doing a particularly good job of yet. I'm doing a lot of damage, you know that. I suppose I'll just do that and kill you. 1 damage is 1 damage, but we have bites. That's what they're there for. We can take cheap damage and not worry too much about it. Thinking ahead is a solid card. Right, I can draw after after using the thing that draws me 3 cards. I know what it is. I'll remember eventually. What is it? Battle Trance. I remembered it all on my own. I did not look at anything. It just popped into my mind. Should have played thinking ahead first. Obviously, in retrospect. Dagger Spray and 2 bites. Or I do 1 power through, obviously. No reason not to. Otherwise I'm just taking unnecessary damage. Maybe even pop a regen potion. I'm gonna get a potion after this anyways. So. Battle Trance. Sure. Is this enough to kill you? I don't think it is. I actually don't deal that much damage. The damage I deal is pretty much abysmal after, like I said, the first turn. The only thing that's saving this run from not being terrible is the vulnerable and the friggin' slow, the time dilation. Those 2 things together are just doing so much work, and adrenaline is definitely gonna help out. Wait, did we go to 1 elite yet? No. They're coming up. We are about to face our biggest obstacle. 2 energy. We don't really need all that much energy in this deck. I've mentioned this before. But it might just be our best thing, so I'm just gonna take it. Or maybe another power chew. Let's take a power chew. I like feeling a little bit more block. Power 2 is one of those cards which doesn't seem that good, but I think it actually is pretty decent. Or maybe it seems good, and my basis for how I'm judging these cards is way off. I should have played feet first, obviously. I was like, maybe there's a chance of me killing him at the end, but obviously that's not the case because he has a lot of HP. And a lot of my cards were defend. Or not attacks, I guess. So in this turn he's not, I mean, he's just attacking, so we should do this and we should defend. I obviously should have weakened him and then play 2 defense as to not take any damage. So that was a misplay. For some reason I thought that it was okay to take damage, but then I remembered actually elites count towards you getting a lot more points at the end. So I should have probably gone for that. Uppercut is decent. The thing is, no, there's no way for me to finish him off with a feed here, so I suppose the only thing I can do is this. It's not the only thing I can do, literally, you know, it's just like, it feels like the best option. I will bite you a couple of times, kinda rude, but it gives me health. When you're healing for more with bites than you're doing damage to your enemy, it just feels like something's wrong. I'm dealing 1 damage and healing for 2. That lifesteal in my head does not make a lot of sense. He's dead, right? I was just figuring if there's a way for me to draw into a feed, and now that I look at the Swift Potion, obviously I realized that there was, and I'm just very bad at perceiving the environment around me. Still, we got the points for actually beating the guy, and I think that's important. Thinking ahead, yeah. One more energy seems good. And we're just debuffing the heck out of them. We have 4 energy, so we can essentially play everything in our hands, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna play a Dagger Spray at the very end though, and in the meantime I'm just gonna be mean to all the other guys. So my goal is just to get them about equal, or you know, just kill them. Here we go. I wasn't sure if I was sure that my the Dagger Spray would kill some enemies, so I opted to just use the Dagger Spray first and then use the backstep to kill the remaining assailant, which was the guy who puts daisies in her hands. And I think that was a pretty good strategy. I'm gonna play it just for the sake of not just for the sake of playing it, but because I want to apply a slow, and I think having the power 2 for next turn is gonna be a good idea. Right. Me himself first, obviously. A little bit of a misnomer there. I wish that this guy would actually get double stacks of slow, so he would receive 20% more damage for every attack we do. Would that be broken? It would, but let me have some friggin' fun game, please. 1 power 2 should be enough, which means that do we need more energy? I think the answer to that is pretty much always yes. I will not say no to free energy. The question is, in what order do we play this in? The least to the most. So bite, bite, feed, and this. Right, so we did quite a bit of damage in our 2 turns. 250. I hope we can keep this up. With a hand like this, it's looking increasingly unlikely. But like I said, the vulnerable and the slow is doing a lot of work for us. We also have 2 strength from having the Sling of Courage, which gives us 2 strength on every elite combat. So we cannot play an adrenaline, but we can play another power action. We can do a beam cell and we can do an uppercut. And an uppercut should be pretty decent for us. I think I'm gonna play an adrenaline and play a bite, just to dish out a little bit more damage. Hopefully get him over with in this turn, if that's possible. Uppercut seems decent. Yeah, I mean, he's not doing what I wanted to do. Draw me more cards. Honestly, this card's friggin' everything. Maybe not feats. Feats actually are pretty solid damage. But the rest of cards can just go. And please give me a defend of some sort. Oh, that's decent too. I didn't realize we had that combo. Weaken. So the question is there a way for me to kill him this turn? And the answer to that is just simply no. Which is unfortunate. It is what it is though. It was a valiant effort. It was a very valiant effort. It is time. 21 damage. Is this what you call it is time? Actually pretty bad, man. I think maybe if I discarded all of them, the Tingsha might have done some more work for us. I'm not sure. I think there was a way to actually perfect this guy. If I just maybe played it in a little bit of a different order. More backstabs. Honestly, yes. I did say I don't want 6 innate cards in my deck, in my hand, but because they're all pre-upgraded because of Molten Egg, just give it to me all. I just want to destroy enemies, everyone that lies in my pad. I want to consume their bodies and leave them lying on the ground. This is a pretty good hand, I would say. It's definitely decent, it doesn't require much energy. Please tell me that you're just dead. Oh yes, you are. That's ridiculous. And a Vajra to make everything a little bit better. Even 1 strength is just so ridiculously good with slow and vulnerable. I will fight you. Mostly because I know I can basically kill all of you in my first turn. With an uppercut especially. I guess we're just gonna go in the big guy. There we go. They're just dead. Oh, this feels so satisfying. Oh yeah. And we got gold for this, so I think that was worth it. I think we need a dexterity potion. A seeing red, at this point. I'll fight an enemy, get me a little bit more points, and just destroy the Reptomancer. Oh, I have a gambling chip. Oh, that's ridiculously good. It's actually not that good, because I will only replace like 2 cards at any point in my career. That's also fine. As is everything with me. Everything is just fine, you know. Not fine, I think life is great, to be honest, most of the time. I might be a little bit too positive sometimes, but when you have a deck like this one, how can you not be positive, you know? And we did finish, we are actually finishing this run pretty early, so it is Timekeeper. I did get also another hint when you're fighting Dona in Deca that you should focus Donut first, which I think is the guy on the right, because he's the one who actually increases the strength of your enemies. So the idea here is to play 7 cards this turn, and then play 5 cards next turn. Apparently I'm gonna take damage and there's no other way around that. I did do quite a bit of damage. I will also weaken him. I will play a defend under the guise of the fact I might only have 4 cards next turn, and I do want to block some of the damage he's dealing, otherwise he might prove to be dangerous. This is not a fight we want to be having right now. The question now is, I don't play a defend, I play the rest, obviously. This is not a deck that is really bad against him, per se, but it's not a deck that's good against him either. I feel better. In essence, we're just not doing so much damage that we can actually deal with him effectively. Power True seems like the dream here. So the signature just to basically cycle that card out of my deck. Like maybe even a Purity to purge wounds and bites. At the end, I just have to think about how I want to do it. Purge all of this, thank you very much. And now I guess just 1 dagger spray for maximum damage and leave me with 4 cards on the next turn. This is obviously a very strategic bet. Thinking ahead, I'll prep something for next turn. Right, I can't draw because of freaking... Oh. I always do this. I always freaking do it. Adrenaline, I guess, is just gonna be the best option. I'm gonna be taking damage here. There's no other way around it. But this is why I wanted to do as much damage as possible in those earlier turns. 33 damage, honestly, it's not that bad. it could have been a lot worse. And also, why am I drawing one less card overall? Is this something he does? If it is, I was not aware of it actually. Put the card on top. I think an adrenaline would be good for next turn. So we can do something there. I can do this. Like, honestly guys, uppercuts and just weakens with the freaking paper crane is so good. I guess I'll just trigger his phase transition now. We can do a lot of damage and he's weakened as well. And we're just doing, I like, a lot of damage with our sadistic debuff. So every time we debuff him, so whenever we play an uppercut, not only are we doing damage, we're also dealing 80 damage per debuff, so it's an additional 16 damage, which I think is pretty good. Remember, if you play a thing in the head, you won't draw any cards, so just keep that in mind as you go forward. I would like to have it on top of my deck, that's for sure. So I think we're okay, mostly because we only need to do 26 damage now, which should be entirely doable with 7 cards, if you draw them. I'll finish off with a fire potion, just to disrespect the hell out of you, which is what I do. This is good. 1076 damage, so that's an okay score, for me at least. 4 champion perfects, 1 perfect boss. I think there was a potential to get more perfects overall, like if I hadn't taken 15 bites, I would have actually had a chance to maybe pick up more defense along the way, maybe even a backflip I saw at some point. Which would, of course, if I only had 5 strikes instead of 15, it would allow me to draw into those defense a little bit more efficiently, or at least a little bit more frequently, and maybe that would allow me to get some perfects. But as it was, I think it was still a good run. 566, it's close to the top 500. It's very similar score in terms of relative ranking, or absolute ranking. Wait, I'm not sure. It's fine. In terms of ranking, like the rank we actually got, like the position in the leaderboard, it's very similar to our previous run. So, you know, maybe at least that's good. It means that we are getting a little bit more consistent, but overall this doesn't really feel like a very weak run as well. The backstabs definitely helped a lot. Getting basically 100 or 200 damage in the first turn is ridiculously good. We just needed something to keep us going through the rest, especially against some of those tougher enemies, like of course the Time Eater and the giant head which kills you. Now, of course it helps if you have the slow debuff, that is just like one of the best modifiers in the game in my opinion, if you just want a really strong run, alongside with the one that replaces cards with relics. That's also very, very decent. Essentially it allows you to tailor your cards in the shops and just kind of go with it. So all in all, a strong run, and of course as many others. The game is not super hard, I think, but it's super hard to get a really good score, and we're still getting to that point, and I hope that eventually we're gonna get there. But with all of that said, I hope you enjoyed this one, guys, and I hope to see you next time.